That's the language that talks about the state funds that would appear just before Senator Nelson's amendment. And that would, I think, help to explain. There's some language there that gives a definition or defines cloning. For the purposes of this section, cloning means generating a genetically identical copy of an organism in any stage of development by combining a nucleated egg and the nucleus of a schematic cell to make an embryo. So I think that if Senator Latz was looking for some kind of definition, there's the information there that appears in the bill. Senator Latz.
Well, Madam President, if the purpose of the provision that Senator Fischbach just read is to be effectuated, then I would have to conclude, and if she is not objecting to the amendment that is offered by Senator Nelson, I would have to conclude that Senator Nelson's amendment would still allow the main purpose of Senator Fischbach's language already in the bill to apply. So the effect of that would be very significant for research. The effect of that would be very significant for our economy and for jobs. And the effect of that would be very significant for the potential to control or cure very significant diseases that affect all of our families. The definition of human cloning, or of cloning, that is in the underlying bill and that Senator Nelson's amendment purports to affect in some, I would suggest, ambiguous or unclear way, is very, very broad and very, very destructive in a lot of ways. In fact, I would suggest that the average Minnesotan, when they think of human cloning, would not come anywhere near to this definition of human cloning. The polls do repeatedly show that people in Minnesota and in the country object or oppose human cloning, and I would dare say probably everyone in this room does as well. I think the average person thinks of human cloning as creating another human being identical to one that's already existed. And that is what I think we would all agree is not appropriate. But I don't think that's what the underlying bill or Senator Nelson's amendment is dealing with. What I had anticipated, what we want to try to protect, what I'd like to try to protect is therapeutic stem cell research, not reproductive stem cell research. Reproductive stem cell research, I think, is what most people think of in human cloning. What I do think, however, is that the language you have before you doesn't really tell you what its impact is. And I think there's a reason for that. The impact of this would be to have a very substantial chilling effect and an outright ban under certain circumstances, depending on the funding mechanisms, for the kind of basic scientific stem cell research that will lead to lives being saved and lives being made much better. Somatic cell nuclear transfer is a technique of taking a skin cell, taking the nucleus out of it, the DNA out of it, and inserting that nucleus into an egg that has had its nucleus removed. So in that sense, yes, you are creating a complete cell, an egg with a nucleus in it, that, if a whole bunch of other potential things happen, may eventually develop into a human being who's an identical copy of the person from whom that somatic cell nucleus came from, the skin cell's nucleus came from.